Good afternoon, guys, and welcome back to the Mudmore Mayhem YouTube channel. Finally, part 3 of the Cadillac. Today's Monday, the 4th, and I finally got my front coil springs. So, got the new ones. To be honest with you, not sure which one's the top and which one's the bottom. I have to say this is the bottom. So, I'm gonna get this coil spring in. Gonna get the jack under the lower control arm. Should be using a spring compressor, but I'm gonna try without it. So yeah, I'm gonna put this coil in and jack it up, and then I'm gonna go by step on putting it back together. Okay guys, it is the next day. I had to stop yesterday because I couldn't get the springs in without getting the car low enough, and then I got the car as low as I could, but then I couldn't get the jack underneath the lower control arm, so I had to make a trip to Harbor Freight, get a spring compressor. Didn't want to, but kind of had no choice. So currently, that coil probably has about 500 pounds of tension on it, and I don't like that, and I don't feel like jacking it up right now, so I'm going to go ahead and do the other side. And I also, pretty sure I just sealed the deal on something. The last time I saw it, it was on video about 3 years ago. I haven't seen it since, and yeah. You'll have to stay tuned for that. Some of you long-time subscribers will probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I'm going to get this driver's side spring compressed. Hopefully I don't die. It is from Harbor Freight, so. And then try to get in the car. And now I have a live explosive. Let's see if I can get it in the car. Okay guys, that was not fun whatsoever. But this side coil springs in. It was a major pain in the ass. So, coil spring compressors. When you put them inside the coil, the hole in the bottom of the coil is too small. You can't get it apart. So, you can't put them in the outside of the coil because there's no room in the spring pocket. So, what you have to do is you have to jack the car way up, which I mean, I guess I could use a different type of spring compressor, but this is all I have. You have to jack the car way up, get the control arm all the way down, use the spring compressors to compress like a ½ an inch so you can get the coil in, and then you have to let the weight down of the car onto the knuckle, and then fuck with it some more. It took about 2 hours to get this coil in. Not fun. So with that being said, I am done for today. 3 hours of fucking with a coil. I'm done. And I still gotta do the other side. The other side's not done. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay guys, it is the next day. This coil spring is in. Ball joint's tight. Good to go. And I ended up working in the pouring rain last night, well, yesterday, got this coil in. You know, I think it's more sketchy to do these coil springs than it is doing 55 on a lawnmower. So just throwing that out there. So, next thing you want to do after you get your coils in is you want to bolt in your strut rod. So, there's 2 bolts here. I actually had to hook a ratchet strap to the back frame of the car to pull the control arm back so the strut rod would line back up. So you're going to want to get those 2 bolts in. So I got to get nuts on them and tighten them up. Okay, the strut rod is bolted in. Now, I could do the front shock, but I'm actually going to do the sway bar end links, see if they fit for a 66 Chevelle, so hopefully they'll fit, and then I'm going to do the front shock. Okay guys, So this side of the suspension is wrapped up. I got the sway bar end links in. I got the shock in. Ironically, the shock was more difficult than the sway bar. But it just, I'm not sure what's going on here, but that don't look symmetrical. Maybe that's the way these cars look jacked up. I don't know, but I know that this side is going to be way out of the line because when I was tightening the ball joint, the fucking camber bushing spun. So, depending how bad it is, the car's looking at alignment in its future, which was what I was trying to avoid. But I was noticing, because I have to do front wheel cylinders, I was noticing that I actually have to pull the whole backing plate off. Because I don't think you guys can see it. Yep. You can't get the bolt out past the knuckle. So you gotta unbolt the backing plate to replace the wheel cylinder. So, whatever. I have one wheel cylinder. The last one should be getting delivered today. It's supposed to be delivered yesterday, but didn't show up. So, yeah. I'm gonna get to work on the other side, and I'll see you guys then. Okay, so this side's done. This side is 75% done. I got the shock in, top bolt's not tight, bottom bolt's in, but I can't find the nut. Sway bar end links in. So, I'm going to start on the brakes. I'm going to pull off this backing plate. I figured I'd do this side. I don't have the wheel cylinder for the other side yet, like I've already said. So, I'm going to go ahead and get this backing plate off and, well, take a picture of this and take the springs off and everything, then take off the backing plate. Well, I ran into a slight problem. I got the backing plate off, I got the old wheel cylinder out, but the new ones are different. On the rear, I was able to bend the line and get them to work. But on the front, if I put it through where it's supposed to go, hold on. Put it where it's supposed to go. One, I can't get it low enough to get the bolts in, and two, the bleeder's at the bottom. So, these aren't gonna work. Not exactly sure what I'm gonna do. I'm probably gonna have to go to a local parts store and get wheel cylinders. So, that's where I'm at now. The little studs, because I had to reuse the old hardware while trying to. I don't have new stuff. But they're pretty fucking crusty. So, looks like this is going to be on a standstill until I figure something out. And that tie rod end's junk. So, yeah, looks like this project's going to be on a standstill until I figure something out. Well, I figured in the meantime, might as well take the mini bike for a rip. Well, guys, it's about 2-3 weeks later, and well, kind of just gave it away, but the Cadillac's no longer there because I got it done. So after the wheel cylinder issue, I had to wait, and then I actually ended up ordering some off of Amazon. And now it's snowing. It's the 25th of March, I think. Yeah, 25th of March. And, yeah, so I ended up getting it back together. Ordered some wheel cylinders off of Amazon, 30 bucks a piece. And, yeah, the alignment's fucked. And the master cylinder. So I just ordered one off of Amazon the other day, last night. Master cylinder doesn't work. It's not sending enough fluid to the front brakes. It works intermediately, and you can see where it's leaking. So 45 bucks gets one of them. And I ended up doing new valve cover gaskets. My Mountain Dew valve covers don't mind the peeling. Yeah, this was a half-assed job, and I'm gonna admit it. Mountain Dew valve covers. Totally unintentional, but matches the can of Mountain Dew. But I did just, and I got my new training lines on. I had to splice in a little rubber here and there, but new transmission cooler lines are on. But I just did verify some bad news with the motor. I knew it, but it now is 100% verified. Let's see, it's a GM, so 6 and 8, I think? No, 5 and 7. The head gasket is blown between 5 and 7, which is very unfortunate because 7 is at, I think anyway, I think the Cadillac motors are the same as the GM. This one's at 30, 40, this one's at 60, and then all the rest of them are at 150. So I suspect head gasket's blown, which I'm not doing a head gasket. This motor has never been rebuilt. It has 137,000 on it. It would be pointless of me putting a head gasket in it. I might put a head gasket in it because the water pump's leaking, so it gets down to I got to pull the intake. I'm not going to do one head gasket. I'm going to do both of them. And this does have the original nylon timing gear, so if I'm doing the water pump, I might as well pull the timing cover and do the timing chain and gears. I'm very hesitant because when I restore this car, I'm not sure if I'm going to pull this motor and trainee out, send them out and get rebuilt, or do an LS swap on it. I know everybody's doing the LS swaps, but at the same time, I can have more power, and it'll be around the same price to do a complete LS swap to have this motor and transmission rebuild. Considering the passenger side exhaust manifold is broken, and the manifold alone on eBay is 500 bucks. But Isky Cams is actually now just doing a performance cam for the 429. For a long time, you couldn't get any aftermarket parts for these motors. So maybe if another company comes out with an aluminum intake manifold and put an Isky Cam in it, I might keep this motor around. But if they don't, chances are I'm going LS. So anyway, the alignment's screwed, carburetor's garbage, so I need to send it out, get an alignment done, which is very hard around here to find a trusted shop to do an alignment on these. And this tie rod's bad, this tie rod end, so I gotta do that, do the master, rebuild the carb, because I do have the original Quadrajet somewhere. It's like 300 bucks. I gotta send it out and get it rebuilt. And it's March 25th. The only real thing that's preventing it from being on the road is the wheels, the master cylinder. I have taken it down the road a little bit, but 1 second the brakes work, next second only I have the rears. So the master cylinder should be in Wednesday. I ended up just dropping the fuel tank. Dropped the fuel tank, adjusted it, ended up getting the filler neck, the fuel gauge working again. So I now have a working fuel gauge. So yeah, that will be it for this video. I know that it's taken like a month to finish this, which is not really done. I apologize that I didn't film it. I just wanted to get this thing done. It was a couple of nights ago before the snow. I wanted to get it moved, and it was in midnight. I worked on it till midnight and just got it moved. So, next video will probably be on Dana 60 on my truck. I'll explain more in that video on why I need to get that moved and the bed back on it, half-assed, put back together. And yeah, so I will see you guys in the next video, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.